Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. Here's me today. I have a stud linebacker that I want you guys to meet. A very hot name right now in the news with a lot of great things happening for his school. I got with me Mac Harris III, linebacker out of South Florida. Nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you as well. How you doing?
Doing all right, man. Having a good day, and know you guys are doing very well, man. I mean, for people who aren't paying attention, who are maybe under a rock, South Florida Bulls, they are riding high right now. So, uh, as we are speaking, you guys just finished up your second game of the season, and
Yep.
looking for an elite matchup this upcoming weekend. So looking forward to a great game and season in that event. So
Yeah.
go ahead and introduce yourself so we can get going.
Okay. Like you said, Mac Harris the third. Recently just talked about it. Original first name is Mac Arthur. But I just go by Mac. Originally from Wildwood, Florida. Went to school at the Villages Charter High School. Been here at USF since 2020. Got my undergrad in marketing and advertising. Looking to get my master's here soon, and God willing, play at the next level.
Cool. Well, Mac, let's talk through some of the beginnings of you and your background before we get there to USF. So, how long actually have you played football?
I've been playing football since I was 5 years old. Started playing flag football when I was five. Did 1 year of that, and then after that, my dad told my mom it was time to throw me in some shoulder pads, and I was a bigger child, so I ended up playing above my age group. So the first padded year of football, I was getting tossed around like a rag doll, and then I found my footing eventually. But I've always played like running back or linebacker growing up as a kid. So yeah, started when I was about five.
Cool. Having my notes, as you had mentioned, the Villages Charter School there down in Florida, and actually was recruited as a safety. I find that kind of interesting because, I mean, I introduced you as a linebacker. Talk to me a little bit about your high school days before we move on to this recruiting and stuff. Any lasting memories from your time in high school?
Yeah, I mean, obviously in the football avenue, played quarterback and safety in high school. When I first got to high school, didn't play quarterback or safety. I played receiver and corner actually. My
Huh.
freshman year in high school, broke a lot of receiving records. My freshman year, true freshman year on varsity. The year after that, played receiver again, and then my junior and senior year, transformed to a quarterback and a safety. So those are pretty fun. Played basketball as well. We were almost state contenders every single year. I started as a freshman on varsity as well. Played next to some elite basketball players. Uh, Trey Mann being one of my best friends. Trey Sean Mann plays for the Hornets right now. But yeah, we played some good basketball back in the day.
Wait, were you what, a shooting guard or what?
I played all five positions on the court. All five positions on the court. I was a defensive specialist, obviously, being a football player. Couldn't really find my shot like I wanted to. Couldn't really find my shot like I wanted to, but I was definitely down to guard everybody's best player. Did a great job of doing that. I actually led the state at one point in taking charges. I had 19 in one season. So I was pretty good at playing defense in basketball.
Taking charges. That's an
Yeah.
interesting stat there. I don't know how you want to say that that translates to football. Maybe toughness, perhaps. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of being in position. You can't still be moving. You can't be in a certain spot under the goal. And obviously, if you're too far under the goal, it's not going to be called at all. So I would say just being in the right positions and understanding body language and when people are about to attack the rim and getting your feet set, and then
Okay.
obviously the toughness of taking that charge and enjoying that. I enjoyed it. Like it was fun to me. It was a core value on our team, and I took it to heart.
Cool. Appreciate you walking me through that there because I was trying to mentally think, how does that translate? But that does make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
Um, as I had mentioned, came to USF safety, ended up putting on 30, 40 pounds or whatever. But let's talk through the recruiting process, man. Was it always going to be USF? Talk to me.
Well, it was so came in. I was a late bloomer as far as recruiting went. Didn't really have, a lot of guidance early on in high school about, how to get recruited, how to get found. The Villages being a school that's still fairly new. I think it was on its 24th year, something like that, as I graduated. So I ended up being the first Division I player to play out of the Villages. So it was just wasn't a blueprint of how to do that, I think, and it held me back early on in high school. But I'll never forget first offer being from Samford, the Bulldogs, yep, out of Alabama. And the coach called me. I can't remember his name now, but he called me and he asked me, was there any problems with me? And he asked me like, had I been to jail or did I have like a bunch of kids or were my grades terrible because I hadn't had any offers. And then once I told him like none of the above, he went ahead and offered me and like within the next 2 or 3 hours, I probably had five more offers. And then you know how that goes. The ball gets to rolling and things get to going good for me. But yeah, recruited as a safety mostly. Had a few schools recruit me as a running back actually. Because of the film that I had at quarterback. I was definitely a a running quarterback, I would say. I wouldn't even consider myself a dual threat. We really didn't throw that much. But yeah, some people recruited me as running back. I had one school recruit me as a linebacker. That was Tulane. They recruited me as a linebacker, and at the time, I was stubborn about it. Didn't really think I was a linebacker. I was probably a buck 85, a buck 90. Didn't
Hmm.
see it in my future. Then I eventually, got to USF, and early on that COVID year, a lot of guys were hurt in that linebacker room, and they needed guys to fill in the position, and I had the body type for it. I was about 205 when I got to USF, so they felt like it would be an easy transition for me. And first game as a linebacker, being, against Citadel. I played against Citadel my first game as a linebacker. And then, that freshman year was a decent year. Yeah, freshman year was a decent year.
Cool. We'll talk through some more of that, but I mean, of course, the interesting thing, when I look about you and your journey, I mean, you talk about being a running quarterback. You also talk about, being a safety. And so maybe perhaps the reason why people were, I guess, maybe late on you is like they didn't see yet that you could translate as a linebacker because you hadn't put on that weight yet. Like you had mentioned, you're coming in about buck 90, right? So
Right.
it takes a while for these, young kids coming into high school to develop. So talk about you developing over the years, man. I mean, I know that there's people involved there. There's trainers, there's nutritionists, and things of that nature. But how did you ultimately put on about 40 pounds?
Well, I'd say it was like an interesting journey for me. Growing up as a young kid in my family, like there wasn't a sense of I would say like a no nobody in my family was a nutritionist for lack of better words. Like there wasn't a right or wrong way to eat in my family, and I'm talking about soul food as good as you can think. So it was definitely different for me coming out of high school, getting to college and trying to understand, what it took to, build an elite machine that would be able to perform on the field versus other guys. So after countless amount of conversations with a couple of nutritionists that we've had through different staffs and things like that, eventually got to the nutritionist we have now, which is Connor Blake. He broke everything down for me and tried to get me to understand when you should be eating, how much you should be eating, at what points of the season, should you be eating a lot or should you tone it back or what type of foods you like, and also understanding supplements, and like like creatine and protein powder and stuff like that. And I didn't really have any idea about that coming out of high school, as well as substitution. Um, Everybody loves, your junk foods, your pizzas, your burgers, everybody loves that type of stuff. And I
Yeah,
felt
yeah.
like him, coming in and really talking and us having those conversations really gave me the confidence to, go out and find substitutions for that. So being able to actually make, a healthy version of pizza with a high amount of protein that would ultimately allow me to gain muscle while keeping a low body fat percentage. Just doing things like that really helped me out a lot. I always give him all of the credit and he always gives me all of the credit for it. But I think it was definitely a team thing of us both putting our heads together and us both being passionate about what we do and really wanting to get down to the nitty gritty of how do I become the best version of myself on the field.
Cool, which I don't know if you're at yet, but some people might say you are at the best version. I mean, we'll maybe talk through that a little bit, but I mean, uh, things going very strong. I want to talk about the defense there for a minute. Obviously, one of the key contributors there on that defense. Describe that defense, some of the pieces around you. Specifically your partner in crime there in Schuler. Talk about that relationship and what you guys are able to bring to the table on the regular basis.
Oh, that's my guy. Like that's my boy. We're actually roommates. So we I was actually his host when he was getting recruited here. And he came to the house and we had a few conversations and stuff like that. And him coming out of JUCO, like he was just ready to get out of there. So us being the first people to offer him, like he was like, you know what, you guys are the first to offer me, first to try to get me out of Kansas, and that's who I'm going to be loyal to. That really stood out to me initially. Before I actually got to really know him, that was always something that stood out to me. Being loyal to somebody that's taking a shot on you out of JUCO is something that's very rare. A lot of people get into JUCO and they're just looking for the biggest and best place they can go to get out of there. And we weren't at a good space in our program at the time. And even though we weren't, he still was loyal to us and still came. But yeah, over the years, we've just grown closer and closer by the day. Uh, you know, People always describe us as like the sun and the moon. Like you need both, but they're completely different. Uh, so yeah, and then the dynamic for us being on the field, like we both again just have that same passion and love for the game that we love to study it, we love to learn it. We understand that without the preparation that we put in each and every week, that there is no chance of having success on the field. We know that it's not promised, but without it, there's no chance. But yeah, so over the years we've kind of put our heads together, put our experiences together on the field to essentially become, the leaders on the field that the defense needs us to be, as well as, our new additions to the team like Josh Seliskar, Devin Lee, like those guys are huge to the team. Denard's been amazing, like he came into fall camp and like really flashed for us. And like, once I saw him, I was like, okay, like we've got something good down here in front of us, and then we've also got some young guys who are like doing a great job of looking up to the older guys. Uh, we've got great guys in the back end. Like I love our back end, and I could go on and on for days about our back end. I mean, like our nickels are great. Like love talking to those guys and love bouncing ideas off of those guys. Tavin Ward, really good back there at safety. Fred Gaskin, he's young, but he's like really good, really confident. You can see it on the field, and I love that. Like I think the best attribute of our defense is just the way we communicate, I would say, and again the passion that we have for preparation. These guys are all guys who we're texting constantly throughout the week. Hey, did you see this? Hey, did you watch this? Go look at this on film and tell me what you think. Like it's a really good environment to be around, especially if you love watching ball, love talking about ball. And then obviously, like at our corner position, we're pretty deep. We've got Ben Knox, Ruck. We've got Bobo. He's young, but he's a dog out there, man. Like we really trust those guys behind us. When the ball goes in the air, like there's an expectation for us to come down with it. So we've got a pretty special thing going on in the back end right now. I really like those guys.
Well, Mac, I really like what you bring to the table as a linebacker because seemingly you're contributing in multiple facets. whether you're rushing the quarterback, shutting down the run, playing the ball, in coverage. Talk about what you bring to the table as a linebacker, as an NFL prospect this year.
I think you hit it on the head, just trying to affect the game in every aspect of it. Like definitely want to get my hands on a quarterback. I think that's one of the most important things that a defense can do. If you can rattle the quarterback, the game completely changes for a lot of teams. That's where the ball is going every single play. So he's gonna touch the ball every play, and if you can find a way to rattle him, a lot of things will start taking care of themselves. Obviously. Not allowing people to run the ball on us. Like we're super passionate about that in the linebacker room alone. Coach Orlando again, also being the DC, but also being the linebackers coach. Like that's something that when he got here, that was the first thing he said to us. Like we're never gonna bleed out in the run game. We're always gonna have the first thing in mind is to stop the run, and then over the course of time, developing my game to be more confident in my pass drops and more confident in man coverage. Like we talked about not too long ago. That's something that not a lot of linebackers can do, and especially being the size that I am, I think being able to play on tight ends and being able to get out in space on running backs is super important. That'll keep you on the field not only first and second but third down as well. And I think if you want to have a long career and you want to be successful, that's something that you have to know how to do. So as well as that, just being sideline to sideline, and I think that's just running for my guys. Like that's not even a me thing. I don't think that's just me respecting the game, honoring the game and saying like I'm not gonna be the guy out here that comes out here and isn't gonna run for my guys. So see the ball on the perimeter, let's go get it. And being guys who are committed to stopping the run. A lot of teams will come out and try to play small ball against you and throw tunnel screens, throw screens to the outside, and they're looking to see if your interior guys are gonna get out of that stack and go chase things down. And we as linebackers, we get excited about that kind of stuff. Those where the big hits come, and obviously being a linebacker, those are the things you like to do as well. So definitely those things are something that I can put on tape or have been putting on tape as an
Right.
NFL prospect.
Um, Dude, you've made some plays all over the field. Like I'd mentioned. I mean, uh, whether it's versus the pass or the run. Also been a key contributor on special teams as well. You've had your moments where you've gone out there as well and still delivered. Again, I just kind of wanted to draw upon these things because I mean you are bringing a lot to the table as an NFL prospect. Um, I do want to go over some of your highlights, if you don't mind. Want to first start out from the close of the season last year and then talk about some of the great things going on right now. Closed out very well. Hawaii Bowl, specifically your play. So talk about the very end there where you guys were able to, close out the game against San Jose State.
Yeah, so we were in man to man. We challenged them on that last play. Again, like an exciting back end that we have back there and that we had last year. So Coach Orlando being a guy that understands matchups and a guy who also has, trust and faith in our back end. We went man to man. The quarterback's rolling out and as an underneath defender, like, I'm thinking to myself to get in a window. So I'm running out and I see his eyes. I'm reading where he's going, and I can also hear the footsteps behind me. So I know I'm headed in the right direction. And he throws the ball, and it's kind of like a lollipop ball to kind of get over my head. And you ask me, I'm gonna tell you 1,000 times out of 1,000, I should have came down with the ball. I should have picked it off. But making the play to end the game is something that I'm proud of as well. But again, I definitely should have picked the ball off, and it would have been just a little bit more exciting for me. Would have been the sprinkles on top of the cake. But yeah, it was a great play. If I hadn't made it, Tavin Ward would have definitely made the play. He was there, but again, like just being passionate about getting underneath things and being in the right position and also being a good underneath the window defender.
Cool. Definitely closed out last season very well, which really, you guys rode that momentum into this season where, dude, everybody's been doubting you guys from day one. Like, let's be real. Like, no one's giving you any momentum at all. Going into the season. I mean, you guys matching up against Boise. And no one's thinking that you're going to win that game. You guys were able to go out there and deliver a dominant win against those guys. And I think a lot of that also comes from the fact that you guys have a legit quarterback on the other side of the ball. So talk about him and how he's able to really lead that team on the other side of things.
I could talk about that guy all day. Me and that guy are relatively pretty close, and I can say I'm a fan of him as well as being a teammate and a brother to him. But I'm genuinely a fan in his growth for his game. Like he's definitely sprouting, and there's so much more left for him to go, and he understands that, and that's the scariest part. He he's a lot more confident than he was in past years, and honestly, like, obviously don't want anybody to get injured, and that was unfortunate for him last year, but I think that made him a lot more hungry and a lot more passionate for the game, and understanding that at any point, this thing could be taken away from you. So the way he's attacked the off season was tremendous, and like the confidence that he had, and in his ability, but also in his teammates, it was just amazing to see. And we always get together and we talk ball together all the time. Especially me, Jalen. And we get with the quarterbacks and we talk, and the way he's approached everything is just very professional, very confident, very professional, but also very understanding, and he respects the game and he honors the game. And like I said, I could talk about him all day. He's a big dude, big in stature. The paper doesn't do justice. The height measurements and the weight measurements. I know they look good, but they still don't do it justice, man. Because his heart is probably bigger than his body. Like it's insane. And you don't really get to see that often with quarterbacks. He can't be rattled. There's nothing that fears him out there. He's fearless. Like we have a joke throughout the team. We just call him our fearless leader, Byron Brown. Like that's kind of how we talk about him, and like that's exactly the person he is, and that's his character. I think another thing about him that sticks out that is just tremendous is just his commitment to his process. BB is like he's a guy that leans on his process day in and day out. You're gonna always see him in the training room, working on something to fix his body. You're gonna always, see him watching film, and like as an older guy, being that I, do the same things is just pretty cool to see a guy, younger than you handling things the same way that you're handling them. And, like I going in on Sundays and getting ready and watching film on the next opponent, and you're sitting there watching and you watch him creep in there and you watch him watch his tape. Like it's just exciting, it's motivating, and it makes me want to go even harder. And then, asking him questions about his next opponent and see what he says and the passion that he has in his voice. It's exciting. It's exciting. I'm a fan.
Uh, Exciting things happening for you guys. Most recently, beating the Gators. I don't know if anyone, again, no one's giving you guys the credit, man. I mean, you guys
That's
deserve a
okay.
whole lot of credit right now. I mean, currently, I think depending on which ranking you guys are looking at, I think you're currently sitting at 18th in the country. But I still feel like people are sleeping on you guys, moving forward. But uh, went toe to toe with the Gators and came out victorious. I know PFF named you to like the national team of the week. Ended up with 8 tackles, a forced fumble in that game. So, can you walk me through either that moment or just kind of the game in general?
So the 8 tackles forced fumble, that was the Boise State game.
Oh, I'm
That was
sorry.
the
Maybe
No, no,
I'm
you're
reading it.
fine. You're fine. You're fine.
I'm reading it incorrectly in my notes, so I
No, you're
apologize.
fine. Everything's happening so fast. I completely understand. Like everything's happening in the blink of an eye. But still that game was a testament to the brotherhood of our team. And also a testament to the experience that the older guys on the team have. We've been in multiple games with bigger opponents, everyone says, and we understood that, you know, they put on their parents the same way we do. Like there's no fear in our heart when we play teams like that. There's a complete understanding that look, like there needs to be an expectation across this entire program, staff included, like that we're gonna go out and win these games, and we're gonna win in a in a classic fashion, and like we're gonna be classy about it, we're gonna be humble about it, but we expect to win. And we understand, what process is, and we understand what preparation is. And I think that, you get into these games and the hype and the media and all the believers and non-believers, can get in your head and change the way you do things. But the ultimately, like, it's about being you. It's about being who you are, who you said your identity was gonna be. Starting in January as a team, when you found out, what the team was gonna be, and you establish that and you work on that and you try to perfect that. And as you get later into the season and you do, see your dreams turn into fruition when you're beating these teams, and you have to understand to stay that way, to stay humble and stay hungry, and to understand, what you supposedly weren't, back in the past when they did not believe in you, when they did not expect you to go out and, beat these ranked teams. And I think that we're doing a great job of that right now. Again, like I just talked to you earlier about, like, I'm excited to go get back to watching film. And like I've got guys texting me right now asking me like what time are we going, and it's just exciting. Like it's a very exciting time right now, and I'm just hyped to be here and enjoy it with all the
Yeah, I
guys.
mean, dude, you're living the moment for sure. I mean, I completely get that. Something that just kind of, I've been brewing on for a little bit, before our interview and then during our interview is, when people are, talking preseason, they're talking about things like playoffs and who's winning what and where and what have you. And so, you're thinking about like the college football playoff. No one is mentioning you guys. And I'm thinking to myself, why not? Why not the South Florida Bulls, man? Why not you guys in that mix? I know you guys are going up against your toughest test to date this upcoming season, this upcoming week. But for real, you guys need to own that. Like, I feel like you guys are being slept on. Um, how are you guys going to close it out? How are you guys going to, take it day by day and make it happen?
Like I said to you, in the previous question, man, is like, go back to doing what we do. Going back to our process and how we prepare and how we practice and how we connect to each other, how we love each other, how we watch film with each other, and being a player led team, and not things being held, by the coaches, and the coaches are supposed to organize us as players and as veterans. Like, we're supposed to be the ones to get out there and stand on the table and continue to hold the team of our identity. And I think that that's the most important thing. Like, you go into these games and you think about the rankings and whether you're going to make the playoffs and stuff like that, and the moment will pass you by. Like, it'll go right past you. So I think, you know respecting the game and having a love for the game will keep you on the path of, I need to prepare. I need to have a great process. We need to have a great practice. And leave no rock unturned. Check every single small detail that's going on. And like I said, like, I love where we are right now as a team. Like, it's player led. Like, we're checking everything, and like, everybody's respecting it on the team. There's nobody who's going against the grain. And at where we are right now, if you are, you stick out like a sore thumb, and it's uncomfortable for you. And so nobody wants to be in that position. So everybody's following and everybody's leading. And I think it's a great space to be, but I think that's where we need to stay in order for us to ultimately get what we want. Like, we always talk about, like, do you want to be somebody or do you want to do something? And I think wanting to do something is sticking to your process and staying connected with your teammates and continuing to prepare the right way. And ultimately, it doesn't promise you anything when you do that, but without it, like, you don't stand a chance, like I said before.
Well, I mean, bro, definitely hearing the passion in your voice, the whole mentality of your day to day, and here's hoping that like the entire team is on board. Dude, you guys have a great team this year, a lot of great pieces all over. With the offense running well, the defense shutting things down. You guys are in a very good position. So, don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but I do think that we're going to have a really good season this year for you guys. As we close up shop, man, any other comments that you got for people that I don't know, maybe be your doubters or perhaps even some of the scouts out there that need to know a little bit more about you. Uh, close with any final thoughts about what to expect this season and beyond.
Oh, well, first and foremost, I just want to, publicly thank God for it all. Like without him, none of this would be possible. And like I'm super strong in my faith and growing in it as well. So like, I just want to give him all credit and all the props to all of this that's going on. Good, bad, or indifferent. Like, I just want to give him the praise for it for sure. And then, again, like I said, like I don't want to sit here and tell you, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. I want to tell you that we are going to prepare and we are going to, perfect our process and we are going to, go out and be a violent physical team every single time, as well as me individually, and continuing to work on our game and continuing to love the game and learn the game and as much as we possibly can. But yeah, that's all I have to say.
No, I get it. Again, as a prospect, we are looking at a linebacker that can contribute in multiple facets. Um, I do believe that your experience, even going back to your high school days as a defensive back, helps tremendously with your ability to be effective as a linebacker, dropping back into coverage, being able to go sideline to sideline with anybody, cover anybody. It really helps you be really one of the better linebackers to watch this upcoming season, this current season, I should say. But hopefully that will then help draw more attention to you from all these scouts who might be willing to give you that opportunity at the next level. So here's to this season, man. Best of luck to what you guys got going on this season. All right.
Yeah, and I appreciate you for having me on here. I just want to say thank you to you as well. You didn't have to, but you did, and I appreciate that.
Hey, man, had to reach out to this one guy who's you guys are running hot right now. So I mean, I hope everything turns out well for you guys this week and the rest of the season and beyond. Okay.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Sure thing. Once again, I got Mac Harris, the third linebacker out of South Florida. Got to watch these guys this season, man. They're hot.